One of the last remaining department heads from the Andrew Cuomo administration left his position today. Find out who coming up next. Eyewitness News at 11 starts in 60 seconds.
Yeah, mic check, talking about teachers who sleep with students.
I think they did do a movie.
I think so.
Now, your forecast first.
Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint. We've had a few showers and thunderstorms. Those are in the process of kind of fizzling out here as we go through the overnight. I think the rest of the night it will be mainly dry. Still a few kind of drifting through to the south. Those will go away. We'll start in the low 60s, limited peaks of sun, but it will become brighter and brighter going through the afternoon. Maybe one more quick shower. Temperatures in the mid-70s. Complete forecast coming up. Eyewitness News starts right now.
This is Eyewitness News at 11 on WUTR.
Tonight's top stories at 11. The state legislature is pushing for a bill to increase safer travels. We'll bring you the details. And SUNY just announced a new liaison program to help combat student homelessness. Jamie DeLine brings us more. Plus, yesterday marked the beginning of Pride Month, so we'll tell you all about how the city of Utica is celebrating. Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for Eyewitness News at 11. I'm Shelby Pay, filling in tonight for Jamie Azoulay. For students who have experienced recent homelessness and need stable housing during the school year and in between breaks, SUNY just announced a new liaison program to help. Capitol correspondent Jamie DeLine has the story.
We've got to make sure that students have a safe home and have access to food if we want them to be successful.
For students experiencing homelessness, SUNY will be implementing housing liaisons to help them find a place to live so they can continue their education.
So that there is someone at each campus who's dedicated to working with students to find them housing options, help them navigate the process to leverage federal and state public benefits programs to find housing, helping students navigate the financial aid process so they're getting the assistance they need.
This was inspired by legislation sponsored by Assemblymember Jessica Gonzalez Rojas. Her bill has yet to pass in the state legislature, but SUNY has already decided to go ahead and implement parts of it. Her bill also includes housing liaisons for CUNY.
We know from a study that was done in 2019 that 14% of CUNY students have faced homelessness and 55% have faced some form of housing insecurity. So we know that this is a crisis, and that's from 2019. We haven't had more recent data, but we do know that the pandemic has compounded our housing crisis in New York.
Gonzalez Rojas thinks it's unlikely that her bill will get passed before the legislative session ends next week. However, she's happy SUNY has taken this up as a priority.
It's a step towards my bill. It's not my full bill, but I'm really excited to see this step forward, and I'll continue to work with the legislature to ensure that we get our bill passed.
Reporting in Albany, I'm Jamie DeLine.
As we approach the summer months, we can expect more travel on the roads, so the state legislature is pushing for a bill to increase safer travels by enforcing a bridge collision study through the DOT. Our Capitol correspondent, Emil Taligi, speaking with lawmakers and has more on the bill.
According to DOT, there are nearly 200 bridge hits in New York every year. The reasons for those collisions vary between improperly stored equipment on trucks, violation of vehicle posting signs, and more.
We may have more low bridges in New York State than any other state in the country.
Key sponsor of the bill, Senator John Mannion, says with bridge collision numbers climbing, a study should be done to determine best options moving forward.
You know, what can be done? What are the options here to try to help solve this problem or lower the number of strikes. It could involve, significant investment to actually change the road or change the bridges or additional warnings that are out there.
Mannion says in his discussions with DOT, distractibility and higher reliance on GPS systems could also be cause for the bridge strikes.
The responsibility really here is on the individual, and mostly the state and other municipalities have taken action to make sure that it's clear that there is a low bridge.
But the state is doing what it can. Assemblymember Angelo Santa Barbara is all too familiar with bridge collisions happening in his district or surrounding areas near Schenectady. Not only is it dangerous, it costs taxpayers money.
When these collisions happen, we have to devote resources, whether that's the police department or fire department, not to mention sometimes there's car accidents. In addition, there's motorists that are waiting for hours and hours for that bridge collision to be cleared. And these are events that disrupt the local community.
He says thorough documentation of these incidents will give officials and New Yorkers a better understanding of why it's happening and how to prevent it.
So DOT is going to report relevant information. They're going to report what efforts are on the way and what plans they have to improve bridge safety at these locations and hopefully avoid collisions in the future.
The bill has passed in the Assembly, but not yet in the Senate. Advocates are hopeful that it will pass before session ends next week. Reporting in Albany, Amel Talegi.
And speaking of travel, Americans are once again taking to the roads for summer vacations. So if you're getting ready for your driving holiday, ABC's Rena Roy has some information and tips to make it a smooth and less expensive ride.
When it comes to road trips this summer, let's start with the most important question. What is the forecast for gas prices?
Well, overall, Americans are going to be shelling out a lot less if they hit the road this summer to fill their tanks. The average price is likely to be 75 cents to $1.25 below that of last year.
Patrick DeHaan of Gas Buddy says there are a lot of ways you can save money on driving this summer, starting with slowing down.
Setting your cruise for a little bit below the speed limit can dramatically increase your fuel efficiency. Going 65 miles an hour instead of 75 miles an hour can increase efficiency by anywhere from 15 to 25%. That's like saving 25 to 50 cents a gallon. So slowing down just a little bit can go a long way.
Other ways to cut costs include signing up for gas station loyalty programs, paying for your gas with cash, and using driving apps like Gas Buddy, Google, or Waze to shop for the best prices. If you're crossing state lines on your road trip, be aware that prices can change significantly from state to state.
Every state has a different gasoline tax. And so some states' gasoline taxes are higher, and of course, then that makes the price of gasoline more expensive. Some states see a difference of 20 to 40 cents between what one state charges versus another.
Before you take off on your trip, make sure your tires are properly inflated and check your trunk for any extra weight you may be carrying and take it out. That will increase your car's fuel efficiency. And remember that gas stations closest to exits on the highway will always be the most expensive. Going to a station a little further off the highway can save you money. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
And yesterday marked the beginning of Pride Month, so our reporter Josh Riley was down at City Hall to cover a flag-raising ceremony held this morning to mark the day.
The temperature is not the only thing on the rise as June moves in. This morning, outside of City Hall, Mayor Palmieri raised the Pride flag and welcomed Pride Month to Utica.
When I have people coming into my home, into my city, I want them to feel the love. I, Robert M. Palmieri, hereby proclaim the month of June 2023 as Pride Month in the city of Utica.
Ace Morelli, the founder of the Utica Pride Association and the organizer of today's flag-raising ceremony, spoke to me about how she was feeling.
Such a great feeling that the city of Utica is embracing us.
The Pride flag will fly over City Hall for the rest of June in recognition of Pride Month. Reporting for Eyewitness News, I'm Josh Riley.
Be sure to get our CNY homepage app to stay up to date on all the latest local news. Before we go to break, here's a preview of your weather with Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint.
All right, so hours away from the weekend. For many of you, it's already here. We still got to work a little bit more. We'll let you know what to expect in terms of the weather coming up.
your eyewitness weather forecast.
Evening to you. We had a few rumbles of thunder over parts of the area earlier. Some of the storms got a little feisty too, with some hail, some damaging wind, especially east. Just a few left over out there now. You might see a few flashes of lightning as we go through the overnight. It's not heat lightning, no such thing, because the speed of light travels much faster than the speed of sound. So the speed of light goes like 180,000 miles in like 1 second, and the speed of sound takes about 5 seconds for 1 mile. That's just what you want to hear right now, right? At 11 o'clock at night, numbers. 67 now, so still nice and mild out there, and we're going to end up in the low 60s overnight. A few showers and thunder showers linger. Then I think it'll turn mainly dry as we go late tonight. Now, once again tomorrow, there's an opportunity for a few brief pop-up showers. It's not going to ruin the day. As a matter of fact, I think the sky actually clears out and we turn mostly sunny. It'll start to get a little perky in the wind department as we get into the late day, highs in the mid-70s. So we still have some leftover showers out here across parts of the Mohawk Valley. In particular, Otsego County, man, you've been the hot spot or the sweet spot today. Good. Consider yourself lucky. We've needed rain. We haven't had like a drop of rain in like almost 2 weeks, maybe even a little bit longer. But you can see down here, as we go towards Cooperstown and Milford and Oneonta, we still have showers, even a few rumbles of thunder that are moving this way. And again, an area of light rain here across central Oneida County. So we'll loop this for you. Watch those storms go south. And there's a reason for that, which I'll share with you coming up in a moment. 62, last check up at Saranac Lake. 67 in Old Forge, low 60s Osceola. 62 Herkimer, Coldbrook, Springfield Center. Lauren's at 64, 61 right now in Sherburne. So I mentioned those showers and thunderstorms moving south, moving that way because this cold front is acting a little weird. Usually weather goes from west to east across the region. Well, tonight, this front is actually moving to the south and west. So that's why we have those showers and thunderstorms moving in said direction. Hey, let's get you up to date with Tropical Storm Arlene, weakling. Man, it's like barely hanging on to tropical storm status at 40 miles an hour, drifting to the south and just kind of producing some squally type rains down in the Florida Keys where Jimmy Buffett is. Otherwise, tonight it's mild and muggy. Those summer nights, Journey. There goes the cold front to the south. Again, I think as we go through the day tomorrow, maybe one brief scattered shower, and then the sky will clear out, and I think we're in good shape as we go into Sunday. Have a look at it right here. So for Saturday, a few pop-up showers, probably right around lunchtime. They will die a quick death, and then it will turn mostly sunny, windy and cooler by afternoon. Highs in the mid-70s, and then on Sunday, a lot of El Sol and fresh and cooler highs right around 70 degrees. So again, a few showers Saturday, Sunday. I mean, even those showers Saturday, like I said, not going to ruin the day, but Sunday, likely dry from start to finish, 70. Clouds increase Monday, a few showers late, and it will be cooler by mid-next week. A few showers around. Upper 60s Tuesday and Wednesday before we start to warm up again by Friday as highs get to near 80.
Are you sure there's no such thing as heat lightning?
No such thing. Does not exist. It's a distant thunderstorm, so you can see the lightning, but you can't hear the thunder because of the speed of light versus the speed of sound.
I get what you're saying.
Got it?
I still think it's heat
There
lightning.
will be a test. It's not heat lightning.
Eyewitness News at 11 continues after this.
You're watching Eyewitness News at 11 on WUTR.
Local residents of a certain age still live with the memories of the summer of 1993. The disappearance 30 years ago of 12-year-old Sarah Ann Wood resulted in a dedication to the cause of missing and exploited children. The 2023 Ride for Missing Children took place today. The 87-mile course wound its way through Oneida and Herkimer counties, making various stops along the way. The event rolled off a little before 8 this morning in Sequoia at the elementary school Sarah had attended. The school is also the terminal stop for this year's ride. It is the largest fundraising event for the New York Mohawk Valley chapter of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. It also serves to help keep the memory of Sarah alive and the cause of missing and exploited children. And one of the last remaining department heads from the Andrew Cuomo administration left his position today. Vincent Bradley took over the New York State Liquor Authority 8 years ago. It's not clear if Bradley made his exit of his own accord or if his departure was orchestrated by Governor Hochul. Bradley was seen as a chairman who consolidated power under his leadership. And with Bradley's departure, Hochul gets a shot at forming the SLA to her liking. Just ahead tonight, some UCFC stars continuing their quest for the $1 million. Brendan Miller has updates from the soccer tournament coming up after the break.
Per team, so yeah, check. Good evening. I'm Brendan Miller with Eyewitness Sports. Soccer today and softball. That's what we're talking about. Yep.
Eyewitness Sports right now.
Good evening. I'm Brendan Miller with Eyewitness Sports. We start tonight with an update on the two UCFC squads in the soccer tournament, each of which played their final group stage game this morning, needing a win to advance out of Group A and into the elimination round of 16. Kingdom FC, the squad featuring Gordy Gerson and Nate Bordeaux, saw Borussia Dortmund, while Newtown Pride FC, the team with Stefan Mijatovic, Isaac Somo, and Quentin Swift, went head-to-head with Hoosier Army, the Indiana University alumni team. With the pressure on, they both come through in the clutch. Kingdom with a 7-1 victory to keep Borussia Dortmund winless in the group and themselves move to 2-1. While Newtown Pride handed Hoosier Army its first loss of the tournament. So Newtown beat Hoosier, Hoosier beat Kingdom, and Kingdom beat Newtown. They all finished 2-1, and it moves to goal differential as the tiebreaker. That puts the two UCFC squads through to the round of 16. Newtown finished +9, Kingdom +6, while Hoosier finished just +2. So those wins mean that Kingdom and Newtown played again tonight, facing the two teams that advanced out of Group B, Bladen Grass FC, who feature a roster with former U.S. men's national team and Premier League players, including Geoff Cameron and Breck Shea, and the DMV Diplomats, a Maryland-based squad that includes 3 former 2010 World Cup participants, Mark Gonzalez and Jose Pedro Fuenzalida, who played for Chile, and Miroslav Stoch, who played under the Slovakian flag. Newtown started it off against DMV and dominated. A 4-0 win advances them to the quarterfinals, the round of 8. And the target score game winner came from a familiar face for UCFC fans, Isaac Somo. He also assisted on the first goal of the game to end with 2 points. They'll play Israeli club Hapoel Tel Aviv in the next round. And not as much luck for Kingdom in Game 2. They led 3-1 going into halftime, but are completely shut out in the second half, losing 4-3 with Bladen Grass, bringing an end to their tournament and halting their run at the $1 million. Another elimination game taking place at Union Endicott High School in the Class C softball state tournament. The Section 3 champs, Cooperstown, taking on Section 4's champion, Thomas A. Edison High School out of Elmira Heights. Edison defeated Elmira Notre Dame 2-1 in the Section 4 title game and entered the tournament 16-3 overall, ranked number 4 in the state in Class C. Cooperstown, the hometown champ, came in as the 8th-ranked team in the state, looking to move on to championship weekend. That was just not to be, though, as Edison scores in the first, and despite Cooperstown tying the game in the top of the 4th inning, Edison answers with 2 runs in the bottom of that frame and then add 3 insurance tallies in the 5th. They move on to the championship weekend and look to advance to their 4th state title game, having won 3 in school history, the most recent of those coming in 2019. Cooperstown with the loss finishes the year at 17-3 overall. For now, that's all for sports. Check out SceneLineHomepage.com for your top sports stories. More Eyewitness News coming up right after the break.
Eyewitness News continues on WUTR.
Although heavy rain and thunderstorms were in the forecast earlier today, that has not been the case all season. Our Eyewitness News reporter Josh Riley reports.
Residents of Oneida County may have noticed that we are getting less rain, and nowhere is that felt stronger than on farms. Joe Giuliano, owner of Giuliano Farms, was telling me about how this lack of rain is impacting Oneida's local agriculture industry.
Well, our sweet corn that we're planting this year, nothing's germinated because it's so dry. There's no moisture. Even down 2 inches, there's no moisture. We've been moving irrigation pipe to get corn to germinate, to water strawberries constantly. Luckily, we have irrigation.
Irrigation seems to be the word of the day. Joe is telling and showing me the difference irrigation makes in a farmer's ability to grow a successful crop.
If we didn't have irrigation this year, we would not have a berry crop. We'd be a total 100% failure. Germination is not possible right now.
And as a result of that successful effort at irrigating his crops, Joe has the perfect answer to those wondering what outdoor activity to get up to tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow morning, Saturday, we open our berry fields to the public for the first day. Our crop is exceptional. The size is there and the yields are there. And luckily, we were able to irrigate, and our crop is very nice. Hope these come out.
Reporting for Eyewitness News, I'm Josh Riley.
We'll close out the broadcast when we return.
Eyewitness News continues on WUTR.
All right, Craig, so want to give us one last look at the weather?
I mean, I guess that's what they pay me to do, right?
I guess so.
It's not bad as we go to the weekend. There might be a shower around. But the sky will clear in the afternoon, 76. It's a fresh, cool, sunshiny Sunday, a high near 70. And we do kind of see the temperatures temper a little bit next week. So upper 60s to the low 70s. Probably a few showers around late Monday, again Tuesday and Wednesday. So a little bit more unsettled, but good. We need it. It's been dry forever, or seemingly so. So we'll take the rain. Lawns are a little crunchy. Does look like we dry out. Start to warm up again as we get into Thursday and Friday. Temperatures up near 80. So every bit of that rain, like I was saying the other night, it's like Maxwell House. Good to the last drop. We need it.
Sounds good. The temperatures are going to temper.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, just came up with it. 11:30 at night.
Love it. Yeah. Thanks, Craig.
We gotta go.
Thanks, Brennan. Yeah, we gotta go. Thank you for staying up with us tonight. We'll see you back here again next week. Have a great weekend.